Welcome to Emotional Detox. My name is Sherianna. I am your host. I'm also the author of Emotional Detox, and my latest book is called Emotional Detox for Anxiety. Today we're going to be talking about an ancient tool, and you're going to be able to apply this tool right away. And to assist me with this discussion, I have a very special guest. I'm so excited about her today. Her name is Mabel Katz. She's an internationally acclaimed World Peace Ambassador and is recognized as a leading authority on the oponopono, the ancient Hawaiian art and practice of problem solving for achieving happiness and peace. And when she's not conducting workshops around the world, Mabel brings her unique brand of awareness to prison inmates, special needs children, and dozens of corporations seeking to achieve peak performance through deeper self-awareness. Her books have been translated into more than 20 languages. You can find Mabel at MabelKatz, and it's a KATZ.com, or you can go to ZeroFrequency.com, which brings me to her latest book, which is called Zero Frequency, the easiest way to peace, happiness, and abundance. Mabel, welcome to Emotional Detox.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you, Sherianna.
Oh, I'm so excited. I have to tell you, your book just sits right next to my couch, and I pick it up all the time.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm just really excited to have you here.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Can we just start, Mabel, with just sharing a little bit about you, just for those who may not know who you are? I mean, you have quite a resume, and you really, when you say you've traveled around the world, you truly have traveled around the world. But can you just give a little history to who you are?
Yes. Well, I was born in Argentina, and I've been living in Los Angeles, United States, for the last 37 years. 37, almost 38 now. And I was an accountant. I had 2 university degrees, CPA and license in business administration. But one day I woke up and I discovered spirituality, and, I started working on myself and finding peace and happiness where it really is inside of us.
Right. So I was reading that in the book. So I wanted everyone to hear that. I'm glad you mentioned that, Mabel, that you were an accountant. I mean, this was not your life, right?
No.
And she, just so everybody knows, she talks extensively about this in this book. So if you want to know more about her journey, so you're an accountant, and then you start doing self-awareness work. How do you? Then what happens? How do you get to this point where you're studying what you're talking about? You're going to say it better than I do, the Ho'opono?
The Ho'oponopono, yes. Well, what happened is, first of all, I have to tell you how I woke up. My oldest son talked to me angry, as I used to talk to him, and it was like a mirror, for me, and I realized I was looking for happiness in the wrong places. So I said, Mabel, you have to do something. I was a very successful accountant, both in Argentina and here, so I was not looking to change careers at all. I was doing it only for my personal life. But I became a believer. I became I started practicing what I started teaching, that it was, let go and trust. And when you let go and trust, the universe, God, divinity, whatever you want to call it, the cosmos, is kind of your guide. And when you are open, flexible, life takes you places, it is about knowing that we don't know anything, that only God knows. And when you surrender, when you trust, the trusting part is very important, then again, you end up in places you never imagined.
Interesting. So you say your son was a mirror. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah, because, when he talked to me, I always say that I will, I kind of owe him my life because probably I wouldn't be here. I would have brought myself a cancer or something, because of, when we are, always angry and frustrated and resentful, I mean, we hurt ourselves, yes?
Yes, definitely. So he was angry, and rather than focusing on his anger, you took that as, okay, I need to really work on myself because he's reflecting something in me. Is that what was that your thinking?
Exactly. I could have, even punished him at that moment. Yes, I'm the mother. How come he talks to me like that? Yes, I could have gone that route, but actually, like I call it, I woke up. In that moment, I woke up. I saw myself. And I said, he learned that from me. That's not what I want to teach him. I know how that feels.
So when you saw the mirror, you also saw how he was handling, and just for the sake of this is the emotional detox show, but maybe how he was handling his own emotions. And you said you woke up and said, oh, boy, I need to work on myself because he's learning some of this from me, but also you recognize that some of that was this was what you already brought to the relationship.
Exactly. We in that moment of, our relationship with my son, we couldn't even be in the same room together. We were trying to even avoid each other. So, yeah, it wasn't the best relationship, and that's when I started my search. And one of the first things that happened, with all the spiritual work I started doing and all the discovering is that actually my relationship with my son changed completely, kind of overnight. So it is like I always tell people, when you change, everything changes, yes? It's not the other way around. We are always waiting for something to change out there.
Yeah, it's so true. And you can see how we could get into power struggles over these things, right? When you feel like someone's challenging you or threatening you, or you feel like you're losing control in a situation, which can happen with people that we love, we can all of a sudden find ourselves in a struggle. And I love the way you woke up from that. I mean, so many people can benefit from hearing that today, that we can use that as a way to wake up. So here you are, you're waking up, you're studying. I have to ask you, how did you end up, because there's a million things you could be studying, Mabel.
Yes, I know.
In regards to spirituality, right? I mean,
yeah, actually, when all this new world opened up for me, I didn't have enough weekends, to take all the trainings I wanted to take.
Yeah. So did it begin with learning the oponopono, or was that? How did you?
No. Actually, one thing took me to the next. To be honest with you, it wasn't a struggle at all. It was like flowing, with allowing, to go with the flow. So things started kind of coming to me. The first training that I found was anger. I went to take a class about what anger was. I wanted to know what it was all about. That was the first one that showed up kind of the same day that I made that decision. And it ended up being a metaphysical teacher that had groups at home, so I signed up for his groups. He took a long time to call me. Thank God, because I was not ready really to go deep into the metaphysical yet. But for example, I started yoga classes, and the teacher would make us do a visualization. I never heard of, the word, visualization before. And whatever I visualized in the morning at the yoga class, I manifest in the afternoon. And one of those things was my relationship with my son, where I visualized that I was getting along with him. And that same day, he came back from school, and he wanted to come with me. Remember, I told you we were trying to avoid each other, yes?
Sure,
and since that day, we had very deep conversations. We talk about death, and we talk about God, and, it was kind of amazing. So the universe, once you make a decision, the universe is there. So basically, we actually are the creators, of our own life. So you change your thoughts, you change everything. So as I open up, things started coming to me. And, a friend that was, that noticed I was in the search gave me a metaphysical book and different things. One day she came and she said, hey, have you heard of rebirthing? And she told me this is like a, breathing technique. I said, let's go. Everything sounded wonderful. And actually rebirthing is what brought me to Ho'oponopono. One of the founders of rebirthing knew Morna Simeona, that actually was my teacher's teacher. And she used to talk to us about Ho'oponopono. Nothing resonated with me at that moment, but then, I met somebody that was through rebirthing. I met somebody that was actually sponsoring who was then my teacher for 10 years, and I felt compelled to go to Omaha, Nebraska in July of 97 to take my first training.
Wow. In July of 97, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
So,
it is.
For those individuals that are listening right now, can you describe the Ho'oponopono to them, just so they can understand what we're talking about here?
Sure. Okay. Well, so Ho'oponopono is a very ancient Hawaiian art of problem solving that tells us that actually there is nobody out there doing anything to us, that everything is us and our thoughts, our memories replaying in our subconscious mind, that most of our problems are actually not from this lifetime, that we chose to come back to make amends. The word Ho'oponopono means how to make amends or how to correct an error. So life is really just the monitor. We are like the computer, so we downloaded programs that show up in the monitor. Now, because we don't know who we are, we keep talking to monitors, and we want the monitors to change. But monitors cannot change. You have to change. The monitor is like, the example with my son. The monitor is showing you what is inside of you. So if there is something that you don't like, you work on yourself. You work on the programs, the memories that are playing in your subconscious mind. So we talk about 100% responsibility, what people don't like to hear, but because we confuse responsibility with guilt. So I'm not saying we are guilty, but we are 100% responsible of what we attract because it's based on something in our subconscious mind. Sure, we don't do it consciously, but when you take responsibility, when you let go, when you know that you have a delete key, and you can erase to bring, to be able to move more from inspiration than your memories. So I always say that Ho'oponopono is kind of the delete key in your computer. So you don't like something, you delete.
Ah, okay. So what we're doing, again, is we're looking at it through the lens that everything in front of you is inside of you. And if you don't like what you see, then it's something in you, a memory, that is, what you're saying is most likely from not even this lifetime. Is that correct?
Exactly. So, for example, especially with the times that we are living now, realizing who we are, why we are here, and being able to surrender and become more humble and realizing we cannot do it alone, that we don't know anything. But there is a part of us that knows. So Ho'oponopono is about accessing that other part of you, the part of you that knows, that has all the solutions to all your problems.
accessing the other part of you that has all the solutions to your problems. Now, I am understanding this because emotional detox it's similar, at least the way that I'm taking this in, and when I process my emotions or teach emotional detox, very, very similar where and that mindset of I really feel like I go in knowing nothing, because when you come out, it's like, wow, there's so much wisdom. Let me ask you this, Mabel.
Yes.
100% responsibility, you say. How do you know you're taking 100% responsibility? How do you know it's not 88%, 90%? How do you know when you're 100% responsible?
Well, one is when you stop blaming and complaining. That's a big one.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, they invited me to Guadalajara, Mexico, to speak at a peace conference, and I said, okay, how many of you would like to bring more peace into your life? So, you know, everybody's hand went up, yes? And then I said, okay, how many of you are willing to stop complaining and blaming? So that not that many hands went up then. So, you know what it is? It is about when a problem shows up, instead of finding who to blame, you said, oh, okay, another opportunity to erase. Yeah, I don't know what is inside of me. I'm sorry. You know, oponopono is I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever is in me that created this. But that was replaced by a simple thank you, a simple I love you. And actually what you do in those moments when you repeat mentally, thank you, I love you, you are coming back to present, because we are never present. So, you know, it's all this, you know, looking into your file, who to blame, you know, the complaints, the anger, and everything takes you, you know, to the past. Yeah, if you are worried, if you are engaged with the fear, you are fear for the future, yes, anxiety for the future. So it is about the thank you and I love you brings you back to present. It is also allowing a part of you to do the erasing, you know, to guide you. So you are allowing inspiration to come into your life. You have to give permission because you have free choice.
I love it. Okay, so one of the ways we know, I'm just making sure we're all clear on this out there, when one of the ways we know we're taking 100% responsibility is we stop blaming and complaining and worrying. Because if we're blaming, complaining, and worrying, we're not being 100% responsible for what we brought into this situation, correct?
Exactly. Sometimes I tell people you might still, you know, blame and complain or worry, but come back to present as soon as you realize. So the idea is to be more conscious so that you can make more conscious decisions and you can stop replaying.
And just to be clear for everyone that's listening, she says it so much nicer than her, so we already have an agreement that she's just going to say it after I say it so you get the clear. But it's, I can't even say it without laughing. Ho-opono, correct?
Ho-oponopono.
No, she's so much better than me. Okay, so just go with what she's saying. But when she speaks about that, everyone, she's saying step one is I'm sorry, correct? We're saying I'm sorry.
Actually, when we say just thank you and I love you, but that includes the I'm sorry for whatever is in me. Like a little child, not that we are guilty, you know, but as a little child, I don't know what is in me, but I'm sorry. And you don't even need to know what it is in you. You just need to know that there is a memory playing in your subconscious mind that is attracting that. That's it. But it's not like you have to know or to go back, you know, or to do, you know, to go back to even a previous lifetime to find out. No. It's just that you consider, again, consciously, and said, okay, another opportunity. It's a memory. I can erase it.
Okay. And then there are 3 more steps. I'm just going to say them quick right before the break, and we'll talk about it when we come back. Step 2 is say, please forgive me. Step 3 is say, thank you. and step 4 says, I love you. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. I'm speaking with Mabel Katz. She's the author of Zero Frequency, the easiest way to peace, happiness, and abundance. We'll be right back.
Your emotions are the answer. At CleanseLife.com, get the tools to reset your emotions, flush out negative feelings, and clear your path to help you accept peace and joy. CleanseLife.com is your path to emotional wellness. It has it all, from fitness to personal development courses to professional cleanses, all to take the fear out so you can feel free and get on the road to happiness just by using the 7 mindful step cleanse method found at CleanseLife.com. Get started. Visit CleanseLife.com now.
I think just about everybody knows about yoga and the benefits it can have, but how about if I tell you about a new yoga with a twist? And I don't mean just a physical twist, I mean a cleanse yoga. You get everything you need in one class. Imagine combining fitness, yoga, and emotional detox right from the comfort of your own home. Visit CleanseLife.com and join Cleanse Yoga to get a better, healthier body and an emotional detox at the same time. I feel peace already. Visit CleanseLife.com.
When we think of a detox, we usually think of it as a physical experience. But what about a mind-emotional detox? With Sherianna Boyle's book, Emotional Detox, you get just that. And it's easy to use because everything you need to do is outlined for you in just 7 steps. How cool is that? Imagine getting rid of doubt, worry, anger, any negative emotion so you can be your best self and live a happier, healthier life. Your life has been waiting for this. Find out how to get Emotional Detox by Sherianna Boyle at CleanseLife.com.
Expanding your mind. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back to Emotional Detox. I'm speaking with Mabel Katz, author of Zero Frequency, the easiest way to peace, happiness, and abundance. Mabel, before the break, I was just quickly gave those other steps, but I also find it very fascinating. When you say I'm sorry, and that's step 1, you say it's not about being guilty. It's about just I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but we don't have to relive it. We don't need to think about it. We don't have to even feel bad about it. Is that correct?
Exactly. It's not, you are coming again like a little child.
Okay. I like that. All right. Step 2.
So I actually do not teach the 4 steps like you are saying, but I'm going to, and some people are trying to explain them, but I will clarify all this for you. So also the please forgive me is kind of innocence, yes? I'm kind of, for whatever. It's like, when we were children, it was easy to say I'm sorry, yes? Or to ask for forgiveness or forgive. It is our mental part that has a problem with that. So, and the thank you and the I love you actually came to replace all that. So my teacher, Dr. Ihaliakala, one day came back from a walk, and he told me, I heard divinity saying, just tell them to say thank you. I know what they mean. Okay, so Ho'oponopono was, for example, when I learned Ho'oponopono, it wasn't not even the 4 phrases, nothing like that. We had a very long phrase that we had to do. Ho'oponopono has to be done 24 hours a day because memories are playing 24 hours a day. So even if everything is great in your life, memories are always playing. So you always want to be doing this. You never know what you can avoid, or what could have happened if you did it. So the idea is that, like I said before, Ho'oponopono is I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever is in me that created this. But God said to Dr. Ihaliakala, just tell them to say thank you. Then it came the I love you, and we have many ways of doing Ho'oponopono. But what are we doing? We are taking responsibility. We are saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever is in me. A lot of people learn Ho'oponopono actually became famous for the 4 phrases. But actually, you just can repeat thank you, I love you, or any combinations. But I always tell people, if you already have it included, because you learn it like that, like the 4 phrases, and it's natural in you, and it feels good, and you see results, just keep going with the 4 phrases. But just the thank you will do it.
Okay, so
now
how do you
I will interrupt because I think I need to add one more thing. What you need to know, the Ho'oponopono, whatever you do, the way you do it, what you need to know what you are doing. You are taking responsibility. You are actually saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever is in me. You are giving permission to divinity to erase and to inspire you. Yeah? And also you are coming back to present. So a lot of things are happening with a simple thank you. Sorry.
No, please. I love this. So what you're saying, Mabel, what I hear you saying is some people learn it with the 4 phrases. You have learned it differently, and I just want to let everybody know, you trained with Len, correct? I mean, but you're also speaking of other teachers as well. Is that correct, Mabel?
Well, the thing is, I've been with Dr. Ihaliakala for 10 years, and I have a lot of the back of the scenes things, and everything, and I was actually with him when Ho'oponopono became as easy as saying thank you, because again, before it wasn't that easy. So a lot of things, it's like Ho'oponopono evolved. You know how religions keep doing the same thing for I don't know how many years. Okay, you know, even now, we know we are in the new paradigm. Things change and everything, and people keep saying, you know, because somebody thought that heard, I don't know, 6,000 years ago, they heard something, interpreted something, and people say this is the word, yeah? So it doesn't matter if it works or not, you keep doing it. So this is about us becoming more intuitive, being more connected with ourselves, to live a more conscious life, to do what works for us. So the idea of Ho'oponopono is how to live a more conscious life, how to let go, how to be present, how to really let go and trust. For example, a lot of my students use I let go and trust. I always tell people, if I have a scary situation, I just repeat, I let go and trust, I let go and trust, I let go and trust, and amazing things happen. Or, for example, I'm not going to worry. You know.
Gotcha. So you're saying it's really based on the idea that you're choosing to take 100% responsibility and to recognize that this is something in you that is a memory that's looking to be, that you can be erased and then you can become inspired.
Exactly.
And therefore, it's really about that 100%, not so much about semantics and the exact words that you use. That it's okay to do what feels right within this. Is that what you're saying, Mabel?
Exactly. And I always tell people you can get your own tools. You know, when you have a problem, you can ask, how do I erase? How do I clean? And you might get your own tools. Or you might, you know, get the thank you or the I love you or the 4 phrases. Just do something. The most important, again, is realizing every time you are not present, that you are not at 0, so that you can come back. And the tools help you to come back, so that then you are not an obstacle in your own life, you know, because when you think, for example, when you think or you worry, I mean, that's the worst thing you can do. You are also being very arrogant, thinking you know. Yeah. And that you are going to solve it.
Absolutely. Okay. I hope everybody's getting that. It's making sense, right? So, again, it's that 100% responsibility. So your book, the title of your book is called Zero Frequency. Do you want to talk a little bit about what zero frequency means?
Yes. You know, I've been doing zero frequency trainings for 10 years now around the world. because I needed, since I come from the business world, I'm still a very intellectual, very practical, down-to-earth lady, okay? So it's like I put a spirituality and, the intellect together, because now we are here, yes, and how things work here. So I always present the Ho'oponopono trainings, but the Ho'oponopono is kind of spiritual, metaphysical, theoretical. Now you go and practice. And I needed to be able to share with people more of the things that help me to let go and trust more. But that it helped me to practice more, Ho'oponopono. So zero frequency gave me the possibility of giving people experiences, because experiences you never forget. So, where they work, we do it interactive, we work in groups, one-on-one, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been actually trying to write this book for 10 years, And what happened is in this book you have many ways to come back to present, to come back to zero, to realize when you are not there. And it's the best companion for, especially for the times that we are living right now.
Wonderful. We have to take another quick break, but we will be right back in a moment.
Everyone's going back to work, and there's probably a lot of anxiety after the terrible time we went through. If you are an employer who cares about your employees and wants to see your bottom line bounce back faster, then the greatest investment you can make is to hire Sherianna Boyle and Sarah Nitsch to help your employees ditch those negative emotions in 7 easy steps. Sherianna Boyle and Sarah Nitsch can do a group meeting virtually or on site. So get back to your old normal and be better than before. Visit cleanselife.com to find out more.
Sherianna Boyle is all about empowering you. Her life has centered around mindful approaches to healing the mind and the body. Her main belief is emotions matter, processing them matters more. As a spiritual teacher and adjunct psychology professor, she is the author of 8 books that can help empower lives, from mantras made easy to choosing love to aiding parents and educators to consciously help their children. There is certainly a book there to help you. Find yours at SheriannaBoyle.com/books.
Your emotions are the answer. At cleanselife.com, get the tools to reset your emotions, flush out negative feelings, and clear your path to help you accept peace and joy. Cleanselife.com is your path to emotional wellness. It has it all, from fitness to personal development courses to professional cleanses, all to take the fear out so you can feel free and get on the road to happiness just by using the 7 mindful step cleanse method found at YouGotIt.CleanseLife.com. Get started. Visit CleanseLife.com now.
We should all know that dreams have meanings. How would you like to specifically work through your dreams to process your emotions, to discover what needs to be cleansed in your life for you to be more happy and peaceful? Well, now you can cleanse your emotions through dream work, and Sherianna Boyle can help with her 7-day practice to cleanse, journal, and process the emotions showing up in your dreams. It has everything you need to do this successfully. Visit CleanseLife.com now and look for Cleansing Dreams under Courses.
Eclectic talk with a positive twist. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back to Emotional Detox. I'm speaking with Mabel Katz. She's the author of Zero Frequency, the easiest way to peace, happiness, and abundance. So before the break, we were getting some clarity, I believe, on how this all works and a little bit more about how you teach. And I wanted to ask you, you talk in your bio about bringing these tools to prison inmates and children. Can you talk more about that?
Sure. Well, I want you to know my very first experience in a prison, it was in a women's prison in Mexico City. And because it was my first time, I thought, what am I going to tell them, But as soon as I got there, I felt like it was a women's conference, I didn't have any judgments. I was totally, and you know what, the first thing came out from my mouth that I couldn't believe it myself. And I said, this is a spiritual retreat. I said, here, you don't have to cook. You don't have to go to the market. You don't have to do any of the things that you used to do. You have plenty of time to connect with God, to connect with yourself, to write, and I kept telling them, I said, what do you talk? Do you talk about everything that didn't work or what went wrong? No, you have to talk about these things, and remind yourself of these things. Now, what I want you to know is that since then I went to different prisons in different countries, and the common denominator, I always learn from them. They always share with me. For example, when I talk to them, they said, well, what you are telling us is in the Bible, Or in Argentina, in a prison in Argentina, one of the guys told me, oh, do you know Eckhart Tolle? The power of now. And so I was totally shocked. I had people, in prisons actually connecting so much that I had guys crying, during my presentation. The last one was in Bogota, and that was a little bit scary because we were in this big patio. They were having a break, it was their break, so people were doing a lot of things. Not everybody joined the class or anything, but at one point they started all getting up, and I said, what's going on? Something happened, I said, no, they have to count us right now. She says, but don't go, we are coming back. And yes, they went, and they came back, So they always share things with me. They always tell me, and I'm telling you, it is an unbelievable spiritual experience. The other thing is, I have 2 children's books that I've written because when I woke up and I found out everything that I did, I realized that if I knew that when I was young, my life would have been very different, yes? So I said, I have to get to the kids and tell them they can be happy now, yes? But, also, first of all, kids come to my trainings, even, with their parents and everything, and I receive so much love. That is my confirmation that I'm not talking BS, And
what are the book titles, Mabel?
My very first one is The Easier Way to Grow. That it comes with audio and videos where I tell people, again, everything that I found out, everything that helped me to open my mind. And the last one is Malujia, the Happy City, because it's all the basic Ho'oponopono, the foundation, the philosophy and everything, but taught by kids. And there are 26 stories that are actually true, that I heard, because my teacher, Dr. Ihaliagala, had an amazing connection. He could see and hear things that I couldn't. And that's listening and, to all these real stories is really what helped me to open up my mind and realize I didn't know anything, or I didn't know as much as I thought I did. So it was wonderful, and but I also wanted to tell you, I love, for example, to work also with special kids. I go to different schools with special kids, and I also learn from them. One day in Hungary, this girl came and said, oh, I am very nervous or something. So I told one of the Hungarian ladies, and I said, ask her if we can hug her. And she gave us permission to hug her. And as soon as we hugged her, and I said, how do you feel now? How is the fear? And he said, oh, it's gone. So, you always learn, maybe a simple hug, or things like that. So, for example, in Hungary, why do I go to these schools? Because some of the teachers are my students. So they invite me to the school. So in this, my student has a class with the most difficult kids in the school, but her class is the calmest, you know. And if any teacher has a problem with another child, you know, in another classroom, they send them to her. And the kids learn about, you know, the thank you and the I love you and things like that. And it's beautiful. It's wonderful. So, again, you never know where inspiration could come from.
That's wonderful. And so those of you who are wondering where these books are, you just go to her website. So, again, it's Mabel, and it's with a K, Katz, KATZ.com. And when you go to her website, you're going to see everything right there. She's got all her children's books. Zero Frequency is there. And there's some other resources there that you can get right away. This is really...
There are some also for some free resources. So, you know, even a basic oponopono video course, too, that is free.
Any suggestions for the listeners today, as far as you say that you in this book, and it is full of exercises and things that you can practice to get to know what this is all about. Is there anything you want to share today as far as maybe an exercise or a tool or even just a message that you want to let the listeners know?
Well, I'm going to share something that happened to me. It's a personal experience, and I think people will appreciate it because it's regarding money. So at one point, I had left completely my career. You know, it was a very profitable and stable and used to pay for a lot of the things that I could do, you know, for free. And so that I had, you know, let go of that career. And suddenly, you know, an income that I was counting on, it disappeared. And I already had a lot of employees, so I had a very important responsibility, monthly responsibility. And I said, how am I going to be able to pay all these people, you know, with this new career of mine? Yes, where I don't even have a title. So yes, my intellect went immediately, you know, the logical part. Oh, you will have to go back to preparing taxes, you know. It was the logical thing to do. But at that moment, another thought came, you know, what I call inspiration, when you allow it. Yeah, and the thought was, hey, God knows why I'm here. He knows how much I need and when. I said, I'm not going to worry. So remember before I mentioned to you, like sometimes I let go and trust, or I'm not going to worry. So, you know, amazing things happen because every time, it's not like I didn't worry anymore, but every time that I noticed I was worried or I was starting to worry, I would look up and say, I'm not going to worry, like a little child. And you know what? I didn't have to fire anybody. And every time that I had to pay, the money was there, and it was coming from places I couldn't visualize or even imagine. Like, for example, selling the copyrights of my books in I don't know how many languages. You know, that all came from an email. It wasn't nothing that I was knocking at doors or thinking or nothing. So, see, when you really trust, like I said before, there is a universe there. I want to tell also people I was not a believer. I became a believer when I started believing in myself. So one of the things that changed really my life is giving permission to myself to be myself in front of everybody. I know some people like me, some people don't, but the important thing is that we like ourselves, that we love ourselves. It starts by there, and then things will start coming to you effortlessly. Yes, only because you are just yourself. The other thing, there is a question that you have to ask yourself that is very important. What would you do even if you don't get paid? Because you love it. You know, this is a new era. It's not about finding a job. It's about finding yourself. What would you do? And trusting and going, you know, listening more to your heart than your mind. You know, and again, like I said before, believing in yourself, and then you will realize there is something inside of you that has, like I said before, all the solutions to your problems, all the answers to your questions. Just trust, believe in yourself.
Wow, that's great. I love the story, and I couldn't agree with you more, Mabel. I really
Thank you.
And I love your book and the way it's written. It's a very well done book. You did a great job. I know it took you a long time, and it's a great book. And I hope everybody gets out there, and I hope that you buy your children these books. I know I'm going to be buying my children your children's books. And
thank you so much.
You're so welcome, Mabel. And I hope everybody checks you out. She's at MabelKatz.com or ZeroFrequency.com. And I hope you come back again. I'm sure you'll have more to offer in the future.
Anytime. I'm here for you. Thank you.